to another late night boxing walk with Lily. So, social media is such a fickle and funny place. You consistently hear narratives being thrown out. And of course, recently, one of them that's been thrown out by several people, we've heard this from one way and then the other way, but not necessarily this way or that way. And that's the funny thing with this, the hypocrisy behind it. You know, I hear some people saying, oh, so now people think that Keyshawn Davis deserves a Tank Davis fight. Yet, these same people, I guess this must be referring to me, even though, once again, somebody's lying and literally not speaking the truth, but talking about, oh, so Keyshawn Davis deserves a Tank Davis fight, but Boots Ennis doesn't deserve a Bud Crawford fight, or David Benavidez doesn't deserve a Canelo Alvarez fight. It's interesting to say that because, funny enough, if you're going to push this narrative, that means you shouldn't be hating on a Keyshawn Davis fight. You should be just as excited about that as you were about the other two, right? Otherwise, you're doing exactly the same thing. You're accusing me or whoever of showing a double standard. The funny thing is, though, I've never said that David Benavidez didn't deserve a Canelo Alvarez fight. I said that's the fight I wanted. It's a fight that fans want. It's a fight that would be a great fight for boxing. But the only problem is, oh, she's a happy girl. You're so happy, young lady. Smile a little bit. You're too young to be miserable. But, you know, the funny thing is, I wasn't against David Benavidez' fight, but you have to be honest and say that, well, Canelo Alvarez doesn't have to fight David Benavidez. And that's the truth. It doesn't mean that we don't want the fight. It doesn't mean we don't think that he deserves a fight. But the truth is, Canelo doesn't need to fight him. Canelo already has the best resume in boxing today. If he fights David Benavidez, that's a cherry on top. But we know once again, if he does fight him and beats him, all people that hate Canelo Alvarez are going to say is, oh, so-and-so is the fighter that he's ducking. And if he fights that guy, then it's going to be, oh, so-and-so is the guy he's ducking. It's always going to be the next guy. The same people that always complained about people doing that to Floyd Mayweather are literally now doing that with Canelo Alvarez. Yet blatantly ignorant of the double standard that they're pushing, but then putting back on everybody else. You don't have to be fucking the smartest person in the room to realize that you're contradicting yourself every time you open your fucking big mouth. And then we think about Boots Ennis. Whoever said Boots Ennis didn't deserve a Bud Crawford fight? The difference is, though, Bud Crawford was chasing a huge unification fight with Errol Spence for undisputed. People were trying to use Boots Ennis to get in the way of a potential unification fight. That was the only problem most people had. And after Bud Crawford beat Spence, we knew he was moving up to 154. So at that point, how was Boots Ennis even a potential fight unless he's willing to move up in weight to chase after Bud Crawford? Crawford just became a WBA champion. So if Boots wants that fight, what does he have to do? He needs to move up from 147 to 154. Boots doesn't give Bud Crawford anything on his resume. So once again, he doesn't need to fight Boots Ennis. He already has better names on his resume, more accomplished names on his resume than Boots Ennis, right? This same person or people often use Golovkin as an example, but yet these same people made videos defending people ducking Golovkin. Literally, the videos are out there. You probably can still find them. Literally, they were saying that Sergio Martinez, Cotto, and Canelo, they don't need to fight Golovkin because he doesn't bring anything to the table. Even though what he did bring to the table was unification, right? And isn't that what we always ask everyone to do? Chase after unification. It's the same thing we're asking Tank Davis to do right now. That's all. Not hating on him, but literally saying the same thing to him that we said to Golovkin when he was trying to chase other world champions. The same thing we said about anybody who's in position to fight for world titles in unification. Because ultimately, that is the biggest thing you can do as a boxer. If you want to prove you're the best fighter in the weight class, you need to go on and beat the other world champions. That's just true. Everybody understands that. So once again, you see these kind of deflections, because that's what it is. It's a deflection. People that are acting as if Tank Davis doesn't need to fight anyone. His resume is so great. He doesn't need to fight a Shakur, a Lomachenko, a Haney, a Lopez, or now a Keyshawn, or even a Zepeda. Literally, people shit on Zepeda and said, who's Zepeda's fight? The best fighter he's going to fight is Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, the irony in that statement is Shakur Stevenson is better than anybody Tank Davis has fought. Right? And nobody's calling Zepeda a pound for pound fighter or the face of American boxing. He's just a contender. Unlike Tank Davis, unlike Boots, unlike Canelo, unlike Bud Crawford. Currently, David Benavidez and Keyshawn Davis are just contenders, trying to get an opportunity to win a world title. Obviously, Benavidez is now trying to do that at 175 pounds. We'll see if after the Dave Morrell fight, if he gets past him, which I don't think he will, if he will try to get a a Beterbiev fight. I don't think he will. And as far as Keyshawn, we know what Keyshawn's doing. You don't need to be so sensitive. You don't need to be so scared. Tank Davis doesn't need to fight him yet. It's okay. Calm down. Literally what Tank Davis has to do is fight his cherry pick 130-pound champion. And then what's he going to do after that? Hopefully take on Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson. Right? That's all people have been asking, for him to take on legitimate top-level competition. During this period of time, Keyshawn's going to fight Baranchyk for the WBO title and become a world champion. Once he becomes a world champion, then asking him to fight Keyshawn, Shakur, or Lomachenko is the same thing we ask every world champion to do. Unify the fucking titles, right? Yet it's ironic that people want to defend Tank Davis for never trying to unify titles. Yet the same people have been super critical of other fighters when they didn't try to do the same thing. You just can't make this shit up. Because the truth is, your double standard, your biased agenda is blatant for everyone to see. Unlike you, that's not me. I want to see the best fighters fight the best, whoever they are. And this doesn't mean Golovkin moving up to fight 175-pound Andre Ward coming out of 1.5 years of retirement means him chasing the best fighters available. No, the best fighter available was Canelo Alvarez, and Golovkin did that. Andre Ward was irrelevant. He was irrelevant. So people trying to shimmy him into that conversation, once again, all narrative driven. You know, they think they're asking Golovkin to do something they would ask their favorite fighter to do. But yet they don't want Tank Davis to go to 140 and take on any of the guys at 140 pounds. Once again, showing their hypocrisy, right? This is almost as ridiculous as these people that criticize Juto Nakatani and Anui because they are small fighters and they're fighting people I don't know. Well, just because you don't know them doesn't fucking mean anything. If you talk to Japanese boxing fans, maybe they don't know the people Andre Ward fought. Maybe they don't know the people Tank Davis fought. Maybe they don't watch American-based boxing events on fucking Showtime or on ESPN because those networks don't show boxing globally, right? So they could just be as ignorant as you are as far as the opponents these people fight. The only reason you know them is because they're American-based fighters. And you're going to say whatever you can to try to, you know, put lipstick on a pig, because that's what you're doing. No one's hating on Tank Davis, but you're hating on Keyshawn Davis. The reality is you don't need to shit on Keyshawn Davis to protect Tank Davis. They're both great fighters. Obviously, Tank Davis is more proven than Keyshawn Davis at this point, but he's also 5 years fucking older. 5 years older. And how long do you think it will before Keyshawn Davis fights in a unification fight? Probably fucking the end of 2025, right? The first year he wins the title, he's probably going to fight in a unification fight that same year. Whereas Tank Davis, what has he done? He's never fought in a unification fight. This isn't me hating. This is pointing out fact and truth. When people talk about Tank Davis, needing to step up his opposition, it's because fighting guys like fucking Lamont Roach, that's not a fucking high-level opponent. That's the guy that was already beaten by fucking Jamal Herring. The same Jamal Herring that Shakur Stevens knocked the fuck out, right? But you're trying to ignore that, put lipstick on a pig, and make it seem like that's a fight boxing fans are excited about, and to spend $85, $95 to watch it. Where we would prefer to see Tank Davis fight Shakur Stevenson or Vasily Lomachenko. And in 2025, down the road, if he becomes a champion, Keyshawn Davis. But let me know what you think in the comment section below.